You know, sometimes it's just a good day, isn't it? Sometimes it's just a good day, feeling good. And I think today's one of those days. So let's go ahead and do a full album reaction of Trixies by Squeeze, their 16th studio album, released barely 2 months ago, 6th of March, 2026. We're diving into this album because this was suggested and sponsored by Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you so much for the recommendation. Thank you so much for the support. I truly appreciate that. I'm excited to dive into this one. We haven't listened to a lot from Squeeze, but we're going to go ahead and give this album a listen. I'm kind of curious, kind of a band that's been around for a long time. And what does their latest material sound like, especially in comparison to some of the older material that we've covered from them? I'm kind of curious to see what the differences are, what they've evolved in. Not that we've covered a lot from them in the past, but we can still make at least some sort of comparisons with them. Now, with this album, Jeremy sent over a little bit of information regarding it, which is interesting that most of the songs were written around 1973 and 4. So curious into, them bringing that material into modern day, because there are a lot of bands and artists that write material in an earlier time of their life, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't come to fruition. And then at some point later on, they decide to bring that material back, they revisit it, and then, go forward from there. So I'm kind of curious with that, with Squeeze here. And I was sent a little bit of information here regarding the album before diving into it. And so I guess this is, in a sense, kind of like a concept album based around a fictional nightclub, which is kind of cool. I'm really curious about that. I love a good concept album. A narrative spanning across the runtime here. So let's go ahead and pull them up. We're going to get ready to go ahead and dive on in. All the songs apparently are kind of seamlessly transitioning into one another. But Jeremy did say that the last two tracks, which I see are appropriately titled Trixies Part 1 and 2, should be played together. So that definitely makes sense. We'll have to go ahead and do that when we get there. And for now, let's go ahead and dive in. I hope that you guys are having a nice one out there. Can I say something super quick before we dive into it? And I just bought some new coffee to try, some brown cinnamon sugar coffee, which we'll give it a shot. Can I say something? It's a very small thing, but I think it's a thing worth saying. Spread some kindness today. Doesn't have to be much. Do something. Whether it's a comment to someone else, not to me, someone else, or something in real life, helping someone a little bit, chatting with a neighbor. Spread a little kindness today. And if everyone does a little something, the world's made just better for at least one day. Listen, not getting philosophical or anything like here. It's just, I think a good deed goes a long way. Let's go ahead and begin with the first track here, which is going to be What More Can I Say? And what more can I say before pulling up the album? Because I probably should have done that before I started the video. I do that sometimes. Here we go. I see it right now. As always, my friends, this one is to you. I gotta press the button to start the music.
What more can I say? Now there's just me and you. What more can I say? There's nothing to do. The cocktails have been shaken. The girls have all been taken. The dawn is slowly breaking. It's so continental. It's the underworld of the night. It's so instrumental. I don't have to sing another line because Trixies is alright.
Hey. It's a beautiful guitar and piano melody.
What more can I say? doors have all been closed. What more can I say? Let's stage the next show. The tables have been cleared. The strangers have been fed. The lipstick has been smeared. It's oh so continental, it's the underworld of the night. It's oh so instrumental, I don't have to sing another line because Trixies is alright.
That is really melodic. Like great opening.
So what more can I say? Now I'm alone at the bar. What more can I say? You're nice as you are. The roulette has stopped spinning. The singer has stopped singing. The nightlife is your living. It's oh so continental, it's the underworld of the night. It's oh so instrumental, I don't have to sing another line because Trixies is alright. Because Trixies is alright.
Okay, you know we got to stop it really quick. What a perfect opening theme for the album. It's slow, beautifully melodic, like so fluid in the way that it moves. The jazz influence is very strong, especially evident in the guitar and the piano, which I love how those are played. And Jeremy did a really fantastic thing for me. He actually sent over the sleeve notes from the album as well, so I have directly who's playing what on the album, which is great. I can show you that here really quick. It's just fantastic that we have that. So lead vocals, you have Glenn Tilbrook, who's been in the band, of course, and I love how smooth and with care he sings here. Really fantastic, and it's very low in the lights. You know, the album cover features neon lights, and this is kind of after everyone has left, and the lyrics very appropriately kind of have that. You know, after the club has emptied out, after the bars is closed, this is that after party kind of feeling, but for the workers. Not the fun after party. This is for the workers, the owners of the bar, the club, and this is them like just cleaning up and up another night over. He really embodies that. Guitar from Tilbrook as well as John Harry Green, and then piano and harmonium and Moog from Stephen Large and Tilbrook once again. So that guitar piano, it's simple in the way that it's approached and delivered, but it's very impactful, especially as the starting off track here. It just sets the scene. That's actually the most succinct way to say it. It sets the scene brilliantly. Owen Biddle on the bass, and I love how you can hear that bass so beautifully behind everything. And curious as to where the rest of the album is going to go, but already, I know it's only a 3-minute and 30-second song, so, you know, it's quite succinct, but it kind of has the energy of the opening 3 minutes of like a big progressive rock epic. Is it just me, or did it kind of feel that way? Like it's really setting us up for something. Now, I know that, you know, according to what Jeremy said, like a lot of the songs are going to transition very nicely together, and we kind of got a little bit of that here as it moved into the next track. But it just felt like it was so much of a scene setting that the next few tracks or so are going to be those scenes playing out whatever plot is going to come out from this. But I thought that was a really fantastic and beautiful opening track. And can I play you back as we look at the lyrics? Even looking at the album cover, right? You have the club over here, and the streets are empty. Like everyone's done. Sunrise is coming. The lights are probably about to go off. And it's really, to me, reflects like that end of night. And I mean like true end of night where it's pretty much morning. So yeah, the club is empty right now. I think that that's really, really cool how the music captures that. Kind of somber and like, rainy and wet. What more can I say? Now there's just me and you. What more can I say? There's nothing to do. The cocktails have been shaken. The girls have all been taken. The dawn is slowly breaking. This so perfectly captures this scene. It's oh so continental as the underworld of the night. It's oh so instrumental. I don't have to sing another line because Trixies is all right. We're doing all right. What more can I say? The doors have all been closed. What more can I say? Let's stage the next show. The tables have been cleared. The strangers have been feared. The lipstick has been smeared. Listen, it's time to set us up again. Set up those dominoes so that they can fall. What more can I say? Now I'm alone at the bar. What more can I say? You're nice as you are. The relay has stopped spinning. The singer has stopped singing. The nightlife is your living. It's oh so continental as the underworld of the night. Oh so instrumental. I don't have to sing another line because Trixies is all right. We're doing just fine. Let's move on to the next track here, which is You Get the Feeling. Here we go.
Nobody knows her real name. They call her Lucy Bourbon. She sings those melodies, I'm sure that you may know them. A Broadway song to fall in love, the blues when you have had enough. She's just the one for having fun. You get the feeling, you know you might be dreaming. Nobody is leaving. Whisper in my ear, I love the feeling here. You sit down to your table to jazz so cool and gentle. The sax is in a solo, it makes me sentimental. A tune to wash your dinner down. The music spins your head around. They've got the fox, you've got the hound.
That's a good line.
You get the feeling, you know you might be dreaming. Nobody is leaving. Whisper in my ear, I love the feeling here.
What a positive, upbeat, feel-good kind of track.
It's a paradise, a background for two lovers planning their honeymoon with gifts for one another. A sparkle in the French champagne, a kiss to whirl the night away. Together love could never change. You get the feeling, you know you might be dreaming. Nobody is leaving. Whisper in my ear, I love the feeling here. You get the feeling, you know you might be dreaming. Nobody is leaving. Whisper in my ear, I love the feeling here.
Okay, that is the epitome of sunshine and positivity. And just like he says, that feeling is just so lovely to feel. You're just feeling great. You know what? This is actually, it's Saturday at 12:41 p.m., right in the afternoon, sunny outside, although at 5 o'clock we're expecting rain. And like just a beautiful day out there. And this is a great song to kind of encapsulate the feeling of the day. It feels good. Like I said, I'm in a good mood, trying to spread a little kindness out there. And this song actually perfectly captures that. The guitar that plays and starts us off, but also continues throughout, is bright and just provides a little bit of a jaunt, a little bit of a hop to it. Like you got a little hop in your step. It just feels that like a sunshiny feeling. The way that he sings here, it's filled with like upbeat, like smiles. I can see him smiling as he's performing. I like when the rest of the band comes in, providing those harmonies underneath him, lifting those wings beneath the lead singer. And it just feels really nice. I like when the bass and the percussion enters, the little bit of tambourine or shaker there. It's just a really good, feel-good track. And can I tell you what this makes me think of, like a Disney song. It just has that like easy to feel, easy to smile, happy-go-lucky kind of sound. I could imagine playing this for Liam, like, and this would be like a cool song, like to play in the car for him. Like I could see him singing this in the back. Not now, because he's not singing. He's making noise, but he ain't singing, or not what I would consider singing. But like I could definitely see this being a hit in that particular field. I think that it would sound really nice. Just a good, positive, going to the beach, going to hang out kind of song from them. Nobody knows her real name, but they call her Lucy Bourbon. She sings those melodies, I'm sure that you may know them. A Broadway song to fall in love, the blues when you've had enough. She's just the one for having fun. You get the feeling, you know you might be dreaming. Nobody is leaving, whisper in my ear, I love the feeling here. You sit down to your table to jazz, so cool and gentle. The sax is in a solo, it makes me sentimental. Are you finding yourself in a sentimental mood?
Please clap.
A tune to wash your dinner down, the music spins your head around. They've got the fox, you've got the hound. Their foxes are coming for you. And listen, might be a love story there. Together it's a paradise, a background for two lovers, planning their honeymoon with gifts for one another. A sparkle in the French champagne, a kiss to a wild night away. Together love could never change. It's just a great feeling. They're feeling each other. You get that feeling of, hey, maybe this you and I thing could work out. You know, maybe it might work out for us. Really nice, positive track. Let's move on to the next one. The Place We Call Mars. That makes a good Saturday.
There she lay on the hospital floor, blood on her face and spikes in her mind.
What a change.
Everyone knew she could take no more, as she ran screaming with death by her side. The window was broken and smoke trickled in, along with the spiders and smells. How did I know where the end might begin, when the story was so hard to tell? The story was so hard to tell. You can't mend the mind, but you can mend the face.
We're gonna talk about this.
I'm lost in the line to visit the place we call Mars, the place we call Mars, the place we call Mars. With her hands in her hair, she sweated and ran into the blankets of fumes.
What kind of simp is that?
Except give my love to the man who entered my room. There was no answer, my mind was amazed at how the king sat and cried. Upon the cloud was a head with no face. At least the good man died. At least the good man died. You can't mend the mind,
Can't remix
but
it.
you can mend the face. I'm lost in the line to visit the place we call Mars, the place we call Mars, the place we call Mars.
We're gonna talk about this.
At last we rested in shelters of tin, down by the shopping parade. How do we know where the end might begin, as the night turned into the day? It seems so long since the last man fell, for the sake of being alive. The hospital stands and it's just as well, as the wound is still in my mind. The wound is still in my mind.
Can't bend the mind.
You can't mend the mind, but you can mend the face.
Okay. Bring me back to a place called Mars. I got to do some typing here really quick. I gotcha. Oh, I gotcha, brother. Okay. I gotcha. You know what this song sounds like? And I felt a little bit of this before, but now I'm actually feeling it. You know what this song sounds like? And the album cover. Come on. Come on. Come on. And bring me my lyrics. Mars. Spiders. I don't want it. I see what you're doing there. I see what you guys are doing there. And it's making sense. I think that, to me, the clear influence of Bowie in here and the homages in the lyrics and in the album cover as well, not a bad place and person to follow. Not a bad icon to pay an ode and homage to and respects to in this particular way. Even the chorus, the place we call Mars, the way he sings it, I can hear it a little bit. And this feels like the peak, the first climax of this album. Those first two tracks were kind of building to this. And I think that this sounds really awesome. That cool synth that we heard is actually going to be on this track. It's going to be Stylophone and Mellotron that we hear in this one, also performed by Tilbrook. And that synth, the Stylophone that comes through, I love how that cuts through the music in this really great way. And it's already a catchy, powerful track, but once it gets to like the back half of it, it goes off. The guitar. Okay, so guitar in this one is going to be Tilbrook. Man, he's doing a lot. But you have electric flange guitar from Dan Miley. And the guitar is anthemic. It sears and sizzles in here. And the guitar, in some ways, and the vocal pattern from the harmonies from the rest of the band remind me of two bands. One's going to make sense. The other one is not going to make as much sense. But hear me out. The first band it makes me think of is Queen. Those vocal harmonies that just sounds like Queen for a little bit. And the guitar that's being played, the sound of it, and some of those notes kind of remind me a little bit of Queen. The other band it makes me think of, and this one's going to be more what I'm thinking, what I'm hearing. For some reason, I think it's the scaling and the way the guitar is being played. It reminds me of John Petrucci from Dream Theater. And it reminds me of Dream Theater in a way. Like, obviously not as, everywhere and progressive and stuff. But for some reason, the guitar... Back it up again. Like those notes, like they're a scale. This... It's kind of hitting like The Spirit Carries On, but like something a little bit more after that. I don't know. There's just something about that. But this track stands out in a big way, and I'm really surprised. I know that I'm looking at streams on Spotify, and that's not always a great metric to go by, but not a lot of streams on this track. Actually, just looking at the streams on the whole album, You Get the Feeling has the most, which I understand. It's a fun, quick, sunshiny, smiling kind of song. But The Place We Call Mars is just brilliant in every single respect. This is very Bowie. Oh, that guitar. And listen, where's that stylophone? Can I find that really quick? There it is. What a unique sound to bring in here before that big anthemic rush of guitar comes through. That's a really good track. This is a cool album so far. But yeah, that Ziggy Stardust, man. Come on, you can't tell me. And the spiders from... You can't tell me. There she lay, and we definitely get a change, a thematic shift happening from the previous track into this one. There she lay on the hospital floor, blood on her face and spikes in her mind. Everyone knew she could take no more as she ran screaming with death by her side. The window was broken, the smoke trickled in, along with the spiders and smells. How did I know where the end might begin when the story was so hard to tell? So obviously we came in at a certain part of the story, but now we need to go back so we understand what's happening. You can't mend a mind, but you can mend a face. You can fix the physical things that happen to a person, but you can't change or fix what happens in the mind. I'm lost in the line to visit the place we call Mars. With her hands in her hair, she sweated and ran into the blankets of fumes. What could I have done? Or I'm sorry, what could I do except give my love to the man who entered my room? There was no answer. My mind was amazed at how the king sat and cried. Upon the cloud was a head with no face. At least the good men died. What happened here? At last we rested in the shelters of tin, down by the shopping parade. How do we know where the end might begin as the night turned into the day? So it seems so long since the last men fell for the sake of being alive. The hospital stands, and it's just as well as the wound is still in my mind, right? Because you can't mend a mind. This place we call Mars, and then there's a countdown here. Something happened, but I'm actually not quite sure what happened, especially in comparison with the previous track. Was there a fire? I'm a little, sometimes you just got to keep on going, and maybe we'll get context as we move forward. Let me back it up to that countdown, and then we'll go forward from there into the next track, Hell on Earth. Like I said, it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed. This is Queen to me. I don't know why.
There was Ginger and his darling, a secret and a starling, talking about the games they played all night.
What a change.
Two unknowns at a table, who wired each other cables. They were more than drunk, they were out of their minds. Hell on earth, baby. Hell on earth, baby. Trixies is the last thing you say. Trixies is one hell of a place. Trixie, oh Trixie, I've never seen your face. Way down in the center, things weren't any better. There were couples holding hands, talking, others chat. The band were playing Dixie. They resident at Trixies. People take their hats from things like that. Hell on earth, baby. Hell on earth, baby. Trixies is the last thing you say. Trixies is one hell of a place. Trixie, oh Trixie, I've never seen your face.
Simple. What a funky solo.
Hell on earth, baby. Hell on earth, baby. The bouncer's name is Eddie. He's always on the ready for the man that gets stoned as he stands and shouts. And in the two-way mirror, I play Spot the Killer. If you don't wear a tie, then you're in and out. Hell on earth, baby. Hell on earth, baby. Trixies is the last thing you say. Trixies is one hell of a place. Trixie, oh Trixie, I've never seen your face.
Whoa. This album is really getting good. Okay, Such a shift once again from you get the feeling to place we call Mars. Big shift, especially tonally with the lyrics. From Mars to Hell on Earth. Oh, geez. Okay, it's really leaning into like this dramatic musical aspect. The theatrics come out in full regard, and it sounds absolutely brilliant the way they do it. Sung with such conviction too, and the music is catchy. La 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 la, and then the drum. Oh, and that synth solo, which I see here for this track, is going to be performed by Stephen Large, and he's living large on this one. He's playing Electone organ, Hammond organ, and Moog Prodigy. He's a prodigy in how he plays. That's let me pull it back here. The solo in here, Hell on Earth. This, I went too far. I wanted to get to the beginning. Here. What a cool sound that is. That's just a cool sound. And I'm not trying to like over exaggerate, but I don't know if I've heard that exact tone played like that like anywhere else. It just sounds unique to me. And I like how, you know, we begin with that kind of la 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 la, and then the singing takes over around that. And I love how in this solo, while that's going on, you still have the la 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 la. That is just such a cool and brilliant thing to do. And then the back and forth that you have, that pattern, the da 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 Trixies, quiet, da 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 da, and then the da da ba da ba ba da da. It brings a nice heaviness into it. And then that after that comes the la 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 la. It's a really cool pattern that moves quick. It keeps you extremely entertained all the way through. And it's catchy in every single part of that pattern, so you're looking forward to the next time it comes around. That's actually a really fantastic crash course in how to make a catchy song and not make it so simplistic to the point that it's boring, but making it streamlined, adding a good concept to the music, and just executing it brilliantly. This is a great album so far. We're not all the way through, so it can dive, but I'm just saying right now it's really, really fantastic. That's so fun. And then plus, this is the first part. Here's the second part. There's the third part. See, like that pattern's just executed so brilliantly. Love the organ in there. I have a theory on Trixies. Is Trixies basically purgatory? It's a club, but maybe something a little bit more. There was Ginger and his darling, a sniggering and a snarling, talking about the games they played all night. Two unknowns at a table had wired each other's cables. They were more than drunk, they were out of their minds. Hell on earth, baby, hell on earth. Or maybe I'm taking this too literally. Could just listen, this could just be describing the club and some fights that break out and some disagreements, some conflicts. Way down in the cellar, things weren't any better. There were couples holding hands, talking lovers chat. The band were playing Dixie, their residents at Trixies. People take their highs from things like that. Hell on earth, baby. Trixies is the last thing you say. Trixies is one hell of a place. Trixie, I've never seen your face. What do you think that means? Trixie, I've never seen your face. Could be a few things. Because in the club named Trixies, we're only seeing the inside, the soul of Trixies, so to speak, with the different things that are happening. And there's something on the surface that we're not seeing. Or the Trixies is named after a person, and we've never seen her face. I don't know. Let me keep going. The bouncer's name is Eddie. He's always on the ready for the man who gets stoned because he slurs and shouts. And in the two-way mirror, I play Spot the Killer. If you don't wear a tie, then you're in and out. Part of me is really leaning towards there's something more than meets the eye with this place. But we got to keep going. We got to keep going. Maybe our theories will come to fruition. The dancer. I don't know. But I'm having a good time with this one. It's a Mellotron. I like a good Mellotron bass combination.
She entered stage with no applause, no heads were turned as she performed. Her fists were clenched down by her side. Jokes were told, people roared, the song was heard, but well ignored. I lifted her and tried to hide. Sweat was dripping from her nose. Some old man shouted, take off your clothes. Her smile was forced for everyone. Expensive women were pulling men, empty in pockets and empty heads. I drank alone, but shared the fun. She lifted a skirt up in her hands, and every eye on every man sparkled like a hungry man. Her foot was resting on a stool, her movements made the old man drool, and so she made a few more friends. Upon the stage, she threw her blouse, her nylons flew into the crowd, her dark hair hung across her face. Hands reached out, things got rough. She sang no more the song of love. She felt abused and lost the taste. And Trixie appeared in his evening dress, always trying to look his best. Looked his way, started to sing.
This is like a buildup of a track. Dancer is a buildup in a situation that begins to get out of hand as the dancers on the stage and people are starting to get a little bit of rough and rowdy, and then it escalates from there. And I like how this one builds up in its intensity. Really, the drums and the vocals are what's really bringing this up so much in here, while there is a little bit of an ambience in the background from some synth. And I like how thematically it's tense, right? It's a tense situation. And like I said, the drums are doing a great job of building that up little by little. And then the vocals are deliberately sung even lower and kind of in a moodier, almost, if you'll allow me, kind of a gothic-esque kind of way. It reminded me a little bit of like Nick Cave and, really singing in a brooding narrative. And I think that works really well in here because it adds a certain tinge of darkness for sure, and a tension, apprehension. And even beneath that, however, there's still a little layer of synth or keyboard ambience that shines. Like, even though this is a tense situation, we're still in a nightclub, So it's almost like the scene has not changed in a literal sense. We're still in a nightclub, music's still going, people are having a good time. So there's that ambience of synth underneath, but there is this rising tension and flame that rises higher and higher until the very end here. So there is your drama change and dramatic turn in this track. And this one really is kind of feeling like all build up. And then the next song, you clearly heard it kind of transitioning into that. I almost let it go, but I want to dive into the lyrics first. She entered the stage with no applause. No heads were turned as she performed. Her fists were clenched down by her side. So no one's paying attention, but also she doesn't want to be out there, clearly. Jokes were told, people roared, a song was heard but well ignored. I lifted her and tried to hide. Sweat was dripping from her nose. Some men, old men, shouted, "Take off your clothes." Her smile was forced for everyone. Expensive women were pulling men, emptying pockets and emptying heads. I drank alone but shared the fun. She lifted her skirt up in her hands, rather, and every eye on every man sparkled light a hungry man. Her foot was resting on a stool. Her movements made the old men drool. And so she made a few more friends. Oh, friends is a lot of weight put in on that word, friends. Upon the stage, she threw her blouse. Her nylons flew into the crowd. Her dark hair hung across her face. Hands reached out, things got rough. She sang no more her song of love. She felt abused and lost the taste. And Trixie appeared in his evening dress, always trying to look his best, looked his way, and started to sing. So Trixie appeared in his evening dress, trying to look his best, looked his way, and started to sing. It's like trying to distract the crowd from what's happening, basically. Trying to take control of the situation on here. That's what I think. It's fine. There's a story happening. We just got to see where it's going. Let's move into the next track, Good Riddance, because we might get a few answers here on that one. Let me get to the end of Dancer. Right about that. See where it goes. Good Riddance, kicking all these old men out.
Some boys from the Leather Kid Club came to celebrate one night, doing nobody no harm, and it's just as well. They had their fill that evening when they left by the break of light. Tattoos on their arms, gay devils in hell. Oh, oh, Mickey Mouse type of talking, with a French style of walking, floppy hats and pink ribbons. This is Trixie's Good Riddance.
This is the bass. Right.
Simon sat lonely and bothered with his constant cigarette smoking. He never done no harm, maybe just as well. I sat and listened to his story, and he knew it was time he was going. But with a slug in his heart, there was no story to tell. Oh, oh, Mickey Mouse type of talking, with a French style of walking, floppy hats and pink ribbons. This is Trixie's Good Riddance. Savage women with tongues like razors squabbled their way around a man they didn't want no harm. Well, it's just as well. How lucky he was to be wanted with a smart young Italian tan. He was full of their charm, with no love left to sell. Oh, type of talking, with a French style of walking, floppy hats and pink ribbons. This is Trixie's Good Riddance. Mickey Mouse type of talking, with a French style of walking, floppy hats and pink ribbons. This is Trixie's Good Riddance.
You know, kind of appropriately, as the last song was tense and building up and building up, instead of exploding into a climax of conflict, especially lyrically, it kind of like, as he says in the first lines, the stars align, like everything pauses for a moment and like everything is resolved basically, but in a quieter kind of manner, even musically. This is kind of the air being let out of the hot balloon that was being built up and blown up in the previous track. And even the way that Glenn is singing is calm, it's resolute. It's almost like a hey, we're having a good time. Let's just, relax a little bit. And I can hear that in the way that he sings in this particular track. I think that's really cool how it de-escalates the music. And even the way that the musicians play around, of course, does a great job. The drums change from, of course, the toms of the previous track to something a little bit more just steady, hold steady, hold steady. The bass sounds really nice in here, and I especially like the way that the bass playing aligns with Glenn singing. The bass is going to be performed. I didn't mention that previously, but let's see. Bass is performed, I'm assuming Owen Biddle? I would assume so. I can't pull it up so quick. I'm trying to do this quick. But yeah, I would say that Biddle's playing it, and I really enjoy how it works along with the vocal delivery and kind of a calming things down and bringing things to a calm manner in this track. And it's a very streamlined, even flow kind of track. No crazy synths, no mellotron, none of that. Just easy, steady she goes kind of track here. One moment in time, everything's right. Stars are aligned so high. Some boys from the Leather Kit Club came to celebrate one night, doing nobody no harm, and it's just well. They had their fill that evening when they left at the break or by the break of light. Tattoos of their arms on gay devils in hell. Oh. Mickey Mouse type of walking with a French style of talking. Floppy hats and pink ribbons. This is Trixies. Good riddance. Simon sat lonely and bothered with his constant cigarette smoking. He never done no harm, maybe just as well. I sat and listened to his story, and he knew it was time he was going. But with a slug in his heart, there was no story to tell. With a slug in his heart, there was no story to tell. I think of a bullet in his heart, but that can't be right. Do you think Trixies is purgatory or is hell? No, maybe not. Savage women with tongues like razors squabbled their way around a man. They didn't want no harm. Well, it's just as well. How lucky he was to be wanted with his smart young Italian tan. He was full of their charm with no love left to sell. He didn't have anything for them. This is Trixies. Good riddance. Bye-bye. It's a play. I think that, unless I'm wrong, pretty much kicked the other people out. I don't know. I feel like I'm really leaning towards like Trixies is not just a nightclub. I'm really leaning towards it being kind of symbolic or metaphorical. But I also could be wrong. I could also be wrong. But what is right is going out into the next track, which is Don't Go Out in the Dark. Let me back it up here. Let these little bit of light trickle in. Hey! This was like the second half of the album.
The taxi drew up at the Chelsea News in the cruel and wintry fall. All I could see were her lyrics used as she walked to Afghan dawn. The cigarette holder appeared in the light as she opened up the door. It was one of those old Victorian nights that you won't see anymore. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, no, don't you go. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, out there alone. Don't go out in the cold, oh baby, it might be. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, you Trixie. Went out. I pictured it all inside my mind before I heard a shout. She screamed so loud my heart lost beats. I looked towards the sky. I heard the sound of running feet disappear into the night. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, no, don't you go. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, out there alone. Don't go out in the cold, oh baby, it might be. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, you Trixies. Could see his shaking hands, his eyes were red and blazed. He told me all about his wife, he dragged her through the dirt. He told me all about his life and how the tables turned. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, no, don't you go. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, out there alone. Don't go out in the cold, oh baby, it might be. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby, you Trixies. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby. Don't go out in the dark, oh baby.
Don't Go Out in the Dark brings that heavy hammer of power. Ba da 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 da, guitar and organ. Ba da 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 da. That is a heavy, like hammer lifting the sledgehammer. Peter Gabriel swinging that thing kind of track. I love the power and momentum that this one brings, and I love that 3-part vocal at the very end as they repeat "Don't Go Out into the Dark." I love how you have, you know, one deep baritone voice, "Don't go out in the dark," and then you have "Don't," like one mid in the lead, and then another higher. It's a really cool 3-part vocal part that like intensifies the warning of "Don't go out in the dark." And then as that 3-part is happening, you have this little slithering synth that begins to creep in, almost as if realizing that danger of whatever is lurking out in the dark. Whatever that danger is that Trixie apparently can't see, it's there. And it acts as this kind of like foreboding. Hear that? And it just scratches its way into existence. And I think that that is really, really fantastic the way that was done. This is another kind of climax. If I was to take this album and split it like you're listening to a record, this would be the opening track. And it's, you know, kind of we're halfway through here. This would be the opening track on the second side, because Good Riddance nicely closes things down. This just feels like a good ending. But this is, you turn that record over, bah, ga, bah, ga. And the guitar is roaring. This is a really cool album. And can I tell you another thing? Come here. Remember what I said? Consists of material written by the band's main songwriters in '74 at ages 19 and 16. This does not sound like anything like people so young would be writing. And you know what is also cool? This has a really cool I just thought about it right now. This has like a really great sound that is updated. I mean, 2026, the production is out of the world. It's stellar, but it keeps that 70s kind of sound in every respect, you know? I think that that is just really cool how you can bring music like that to modern day without sacrificing the things that made music of that era. So wonderful to listen to. And so timeless as well, because this does sound like the 70s, just a little bit better produced, but not overproduced, not produced and given so much, fake extra that it loses itself. No, this very much feels and sounds incredibly genuine. We are having a good time, aren't we? A taxi drew up at Chelsea Mews in the cruel and wintry fog. I almost said frog, I don't know why. All I could see were her lyric shoes as she walked her Afghan dog. A cigarette holder appeared in the light as she opened up the door. It was one of those old Victorian nights that she won't see anymore. It was one of those scary nights where the Headless Horseman's out there? Don't go into the dark. Baby, don't go out there alone. It might be, don't go into the dark, you Trixie. I saw her silhouette in the blinds and then the lights went out. I pictured it all inside my head before I heard her shout. She screamed so loud my heart lost beats. I looked towards the sky. I heard the sound of running feet disappear into the night. So at the club, I saw a man who looked completely dazed. I could see his shaking hands. His eyes were red and glazed. He told me all about his wife. He dragged her through the dirt. He told me all about his life and how the tables turned. Something deep, deep and ominous. I don't know who this man is, and Trixie, I don't know. We're getting into a mystery here. This is a great album. This is really, really a good time. Let's move on into the next track. Why Don't You? Little tango.
Scratch me. If it makes you look good, go on, attack me. I promise I won't look. Let me wipe the sweat from your brow. It's so easy when you know how. I want your love and I want it now. Why don't you kiss me like they do on the screen? You know this is me. You don't know where I've been. Stand up closer, I won't bite at all. I never think that my love is small. I want your love 'cause it's such a ball. She's like a baby in a cradle. I rock her fast asleep. Her manners at the table are dirty and they're cheap. But I want love and not a dinner to
That tango rhythm is hitting.
Why don't you hit me? Give me a heart attack. Go on and love me, and I might love you back. I know you're much younger than me. When I pulled you off of the street, it's cruel love and it's ours to keep. She's like a baby in a cradle. I rock her
That's very
fast to
Bowie.
sleep. Her manners at the table are dirty and they're cheap. But I want love and not a dinner to eat. She's like a baby in a cradle. I rock her fast to sleep. Her manners at the table are dirty and they're cheap. But I want love and not a dinner to eat. She's like a baby in a cradle. I rock her fast to sleep. Her manners at the table are dirty and they're cheap. But I want love and not a dinner to
Okay, a quick note about Why Don't You? The song is about two people, and it's definitely not love. I'm pretty sure that she was kidnapped, and this is definitely an abusive, kidnapping kind of situation. Something's happening. Okay. I think it is so cool how musically the rhythm is a tango for two, right? And you have these two characters who are in a tango, but it's a conflict. And I think that the heaviness of the tango, ba 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 da 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 ba, like that they play, and the drama surrounding it is it's violent. It has a little bit of aggression to it, and it really stirs up the conflict musically that's happening in the lyrics. So it's just really cool that they've used a tango to describe a conflict, a tango between these two characters here. That is great. That is really, really creative. And everything about this one. That aggressive guitar, the harmonies, it's catchy, but it's also very dark, this particular situation. He's saying, why don't you fight back? Why don't, go ahead. Why don't you? Why don't you? And I'm not 100% sure what's happening, but I'm pretty sure that she's kidnapped, and it's not a good situation that she's found herself in here. But the music is slamming. And can I tell you something? Listening to this track here, and actually thinking about it, some of the music we've heard previously. I've mentioned a few bands, right? You know what also this kind of sounds like and reminds me of? And this track just really kind of put me over the edge of that. It's kind of reminding me of Sparks a little bit. It's kind of all circling this particular drain, and not in a bad way, in a good drain, I guess you could say. But it's kind of hitting that kind of, clever lyrics, clever themes, clever explorations, and even in the darkest moments, it's still hitting all that incredibly well. This is a good album. I know I keep saying that, but guess what? It depends on how it goes. I might keep saying it. Why don't you scratch me if it makes you feel good? Like, fight back if you want. Go on, attack me. I promise I won't look. Let me wipe the sweat from your brow. It's so easy when you know how. I want your love and I want it now. Why don't you kiss me like they do on the screen? You know this is me. You don't know where I've been. Stand up closer. I won't bite at all. I never think that my love is small. I want your love because it's such a ball. She's like a baby in a cradle. I rock her fast asleep. Her manners at the table are dirty and they're cheap. But that's not what he's interested in. I want your love and not a dinner to eat. Yeah, this is basically an assault of sorts. And not even of sorts. It's an assault. Kidnapping and such. Why don't you hit me? Give me a heart attack. Go on and love me. I might love you back. I know you're much younger than me when I pulled you off the street, right? We heard that in the previous track. It's cruel love, and it's ours to keep. I wouldn't describe... That word love is really putting a lot of weight on that particular word. We've really moved into a darker phase of the album and themes at this point. Anything But Me, the next track. I'm gonna stop saying this is a good album. I'm gonna stop saying. And the guitar in between those hits, it's really sweet. It's like the station to station effect.
Well, it's 24 hours later, and I still got time to play with, and things ain't looking straighter. Can't place your name, those lovely looking ladies walking round in fancy costumes, and my old grey Mercedes stands in the rain. I'd be anything but me, that's how I feel. Looking rather real, that's how I feel. Anything but me. Looking rather ill, anything but me. Looking rather ill. Here comes Big Fat Harry with that same old cigar. His boys are in the alley waiting for me. The dice fell and I'm losing. His smile went round the wall. It wasn't so amusing. It was hard to be happy, anything but me. That's how I feel. Looking rather ill. That's how I feel. Anything but me.
What jazzy upturn the bass.
Looking rather ill. Anything but me. Looking rather ill. My look fell up in sixes. I looked like a wild dog. The game we played at Trixies got me this scar. Those boys, they saw to it that I looked like a drunk. Contacts out in Munich know who they are.
This track feels... I'm not going to talk a lot about this track because it really feels like a perfect kind of transitional song to me. This one is the most experimental so far in terms of how it's composed and structured, because it's kind of segmented, it's kind of separated and not so, everything's together. And I really do get a great Bowie influence in this one, but leaning towards more of like the experimental phase. So I'm thinking like Diamond Dogs for a little bit here. And can I tell you one more thing? I guess I'm probably spending a little bit more time here than I thought. Listen to the beginning here. No. Yeah. Right here. Right there. Right there, right? And go a little ahead. You gotta get to the... Doesn't it kind of hit the similar... I don't know. It just reminded me of Station to Station. I'm going to listen to that album later. Personally, okay. But anything but me, like this is definitely once again kind of leaning towards that creepy, tense factor, kind of like with Dancer. This one just in a different way. It kind of feels like Alfonso when he knew the Russians were coming for him in Training Day. Like there's this apprehension, and once again something's kind of hunting you down and coming after you. And maybe this is deserved because it sounds like this is... I don't know. I think that this is the same person from the previous track, just now from the guy's point of view. Well, I guess the previous one was as well. I think. Don't quote me. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, there's this constant tension in this one. And it's not catchy. There's no like fun moments. It's just a little bit of a trip through darkness. And for 3 minutes, it really feels to me like the plot being moved forward more so in this track. But there is a lot of interesting experimental kind of sounds here. That jazzy bass upturn as well. That bum, 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 bum. Like all of a sudden the music kind of steps into a jazziness, but never fulfilling the promise of what it's giving. Once again, you have Biddle playing that there. And then I see credited on this track with atmospherics is Tilbrook and Biddle. And a lot of... those extra things are performed by Biddle, which is kind of interesting. Because I think it's interesting, like the bass player has a deep hand in the atmosphere. Like, aside from the bass, him putting the bass aside and going to these other things, it's kind of interesting how he fills the space in other ways as well. Well, it's 24 hours later, and I've still got time to play with. And things ain't looking straight to her. Can't place your name. Those lovely looking ladies walking around in fancy costumes, and my old gray Mercedes stands in the rain. I'd be anything but me. That's how I feel. Looking rather ill. That's how I feel. Anything but me. Looking rather ill. Yeah, because you're in trouble. Here comes Big Fat Harry with that same old cigar. His boys are in the alley waiting for me. It's Alfonso and the Russians. The dice fell and I'm losing. His smile crept round the wall. It wasn't so amusing. It was hard to be. You can't stay in that car forever. You're going to have to go out and meet him. That's why you'd rather be anyone but you. My luck fell up in sixes. I looked up like a wild dog. That game we played at Trixies got me this scar. Those boys, they saw to it that I looked like a drunk. Contacts out in Munich know who they are. There's a part of me that feels like maybe this isn't, I could be wrong. And I'm okay being wrong. We're just riffing here. We're just talking, right? I feel like every song could almost be following a different person at Trixies. And maybe not so much of a point A to B story that's progressing in that way. Could be, but it also seems like every song is almost following a different person and character as well. And some relate to another, but some maybe are more standalone. Let's go ahead and see how this track wraps up in the next track with It's Over. We're just going to hit the ending here as well. Because it's definitely moving into it. This feels like the plot being moved along, though, for sure.
It's over. The singer has taken his bow all over. The lights have begun to go out. The rain is still falling. It's 3 in the morning. It's over. There's hardly a sound. It's over. The lovers look tired and cold all over. The cab drives the memories home. The grey clouds are going, the moon begins showing. It's over. Don't tell me I know.
He's singing really nice and kind of low.
I asked her if she'd like to dance. I led her out into my arms. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Hey, soldier, what do you think will happen when this drink you've had's gone to your head? You want me, and I say it's over."
Now that's
It's over. She's walked pride out of sight all over. She danced with me tonight. I know she won't see me. I don't think she needs me. It's over. The stars in my eyes. It's over. My shadow and I on the street all over.
what that slide.
I wonder if she thinks of me. The rain has stopped falling. I hear someone calling. It's over. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me.
There's that Queen vocal line rising back up again. It's over. Once again, deflates all the tension built before it, and it, instead of giving us, an extension and a continuation of that experimental feel from Anything But Me, now we once again release all that tension and blow away to the islands far, far away. I love that slide in here. The wow, that always brings me to mind of something tropical and relaxing under palm trees, even though I guess I could go outside and relax under palm trees and something tropical. And then the singing here is actually not from Glenn. The singing here is actually going to be from Chris Difford, who's been singing on some of the previous tracks as well. I haven't mentioned him, but I love how his voice has this deep, deep, deep resonance, and there's a calmness to the way he sings. There's an earthiness to the lowliness of his voice, and it brings things together in a really brilliant way. And actually, between Difford and Tilbrook, they have a really nice contrast, but a balance with one another in what they bring. And I just really like how his singing is kind of 3/4 singing, but almost 1/4 of a speaking manner. And I think that adds almost a, if you'll allow me to use the word, it almost has a folkiness to the music. Of course, the music is not folk, nowhere near, but his voice specifically lends itself to that sound, and it just adds a different kind of cadence into the swing of the music. And especially in here, talking about swing, the music at first sways like a hammock. It's over. And then it kind of hops on a quicker rhythm. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da-da, it's over. So he speeds up a little bit in the swing of the pendulum, but then he sways it back down to that hammock. And I like how he balances between those really nicely as well. Like I said, as that slide guitar kind of goes and comes. And it's just a very relaxing atmosphere that's built in It's Over. It's a really calm track. The soft ambience of the background also to me sounds like the musical equivalent of like waves and the sea and the wind, that soft, warm breeze blowing. That's that ambience beneath it all. It kind of sounds like and their voices are also pitching down those harmonies. So they follow that slide as well, which is really nice. How it just makes this a big harmony. Like it just creates this big breeze of harmony. It's over. The singer has taken his bow. All over. The lights have begun to go out. Could also be referencing in a sense, the previous character. His song is over, depending on how that deal went in the alleyway. All over. The lights have begun to go out. The rain is still falling. It's 3 a.m. It's over. There's hardly a sound. It's over. The lovers look tired and cold. All over. The cab drives the memories home. That's a really great line. The cab drives those memories home. The gray clouds are going. The moon begins showing. It's over. Don't tell me I know. I asked her if she'd like to dance. I led her out into my arms. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Hey, soldier, what do you think will happen when this drink you've had's gone to your head? You want me?" And I say, "It's over."
Oh my. Oh my.
It's over. She walked right out of my sight. All over. She danced with me tonight. I know she won't see me. I don't think she needs me. It's over. There's stars in my eyes. You're smitten. It's over. My shadow and I on the street. All over. I wonder if she thinks of me. The rain has stopped falling. I hear someone calling. It's over. Come back to me. Come back to me. I guess you don't have to wonder if she's thinking of you, because it seems like you struck lucky right there. Let's hit the next track, which is the Jaguars. Let me hit the end of It's Over right here.
Street level bar, there's a cabaret at times. A few familiar faces with their necks on the line, dressed in their dollar suits. They think the jazz band's cute. Seen all the actors, seen all the crimes. The rock and roll is sounding way ahead of its time. All filled with one regret: you ain't seen nothing yet. Hello, stranger, I don't know.
It's that bar song.
Come inside, I'll find you a place. We can rock and roll together. We can be the Jaguars. We can rock and roll forever. You're a Trixies, you're a star.
That sounds like
Everyone
Bronson.
thinks they're in an opera tonight. Imagine you are drinking a tequila with ice. Turn your hand and dream. Trixies is the place to be. Pretty little dancers who are all in a row. A ballerina one day and the next they go. A taste of classy food. Hey boy, the girls are due. Hello stranger, I know your face. Come inside, I'll find you a place. We can rock and roll together. We can be the Jaguars. stool, watching Bobby Collins making up all the rules. The girls are dynamite. I drank so much tonight. Then without warning there's a shot in the air. The doors are flying open and I'm lost down the stairs. Trixie's the place to be, with the next best memory. Hello stranger, I
love
know
that
your
drum.
face. Come inside, I'll find you a place. We can rock and roll together. We can be the Jaguars. We can rock and roll forever. You're Trixies, you're a star. You're Trixies, you're a star. You're Trixies, you're a star.
We're going high. I love how they ended it like a live band. Like that felt like the house band, and Trixies was having like their blues rock and roll classics night, and that's what the band was playing, the Jaguars. That has that true old school rock and roll sound when the blues was still blue inside of that rock and roll, and you get the two mixed over together really nicely. That's exactly what that style was going for in this one. And with the Jaguars, it's definitely much more of a straightforward song, right? Not so many, no like synths and all that kind of stuff. It's really more straight rock and roll. And on the drums, you have Simon Hansen and Steve Smith on percussion as well. And I love when the toms begin playing in that blues rock kind of way with the fills. I just really like how, you know, at first they left that space empty, but the second and subsequent times after that, they began to fill it with that rhythm, which just keeps that momentum going really, really nicely. And I know I've mentioned Bowie before, but I can't help think of it also in this track when Bowie goes into that more rock and roll direction. This is kind of what I'm expecting. And I like how it starts off with that kind of Queen harmony, and then it goes off into this direction here.
Dressed in their dollar suits.
It's like we're ZZ Top here, Squeezy Top. Squeezy Top. Can I get a clap on that one? No? Not laughing? That's okay. I thought it was funny. But this is a nice, straightforward rock and roll track to lead us into the next tracks, which is the two-parter, the title track of the album. But let's look at these lyrics first, beforehand. In the street-level bar, there's a cabaret at times. A few familiar faces with their necks on the line. Dressed in their dollar suits, they think the jazz band's cute. Seeing all the actors, seeing all the crimes, the rock and roll is sounding way ahead of its time. All filled with one regret. You ain't seen nothing yet. Hello, stranger, I know your face. Come inside, I'll find you a place. We can rock and roll together. We can be the Jaguars. Or as he says, the Jaguars. We can rock and roll forever. You're at Trixies. You're a star. Everyone thinks they're in an opera tonight. Imagine you are drinking a tequila with ice. Turn a hand and dream. Trixies is the place to be. Pretty little dancers who are all in a row. A ballerina one day and the next a go-go. A taste of classy food. Hey, boy, the girl's a dude. Listen. It's a cool place for everybody. It's a cool place where you can come, hang out. And listen, we're not the most upscale of places, but you're going to have a good time. We're going to make you feel how you want to feel. Hello, stranger, I know your face. Repeats the lines there again. Down in the cellar, sat on a stool, watching Bobby Collins making up all the rules. The girls are dynamite. I drink so much tonight. Then, without warning, there's a shot in the air. The doors are flying open, and I'm last down the stairs. Trixie's the place to be with the next best memory. Listen, things can sometimes go awry at Trixies, but that makes the night all the more interesting, right? There's a story to tell. You're at Trixies. You're a star. Let us move on to the final two tracks, which are, like I said, Trixies Part 1 and Part 2. And we will go from there. Let me do the lead-in. Let me catch that real quick. Now we're ready. Band tune.
open to 12. Membership cards only. The band played not very well. The singer looked so lonely. The doorman wore black and his gloves were velvet red. Well, he had the knack of helping Trixies' friends. Cool as a tropical shade with a surfrider suntan.
Hey.
There's so many parts to play. I just wanna be the one man. Just the one man.
I love the tension of that bass and
It
the
had
chord.
the smell of lavender and the drinks were so dear. The same old calendar hangs there each year. No one went out back. The dock wasn't at all safe. The barman really stank, but that was his own fate. Cool as a tropical shade with the surfrider suntan. There's so many parts to play. I just wanna be the one
Drums kind of
man.
Ringo.
Just the one man. A shiny big limousine waited in the rain. Like an old movie scene, it trickled down the drain. Upstairs hung the women in black lace underwear. The clients do all the giving, the madam takes their fare. Cool as a tropical shade with a surfrider suntan. There's so many parts to play. I just wanna be the one man. Just the one man.
There's your cabaret.
There's a door behind the stage that leads down to a cellar, and the waiter will take it cold. But nothing has ever changed, at least not for the better. Well, the curry wants to be choked. The band are watching another fight. The heroin pushes a beer at night, and the naked dancers all dressed in white. I tell you, it's out there. Miss November, she's a playmate. Rock stars of the 80s, directors who are irate, models and comedians, actors and chameleons, all the sort of people who carry something lethal. Trixies is a gas singing, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a gas singing, hey, Trixies is alright. Poker is played every night. The stakes are beyond belief. It's nice just to watch them play. It's lit by candlelight, the one of a full-time thief. Then it's time to face the breaking day. The curtain's down on another show. Now insomniacs will just have to go. The poodle queens from Knightsbridge Road. I tell you, it's out there. Miss November, she's a playmate. Rock stars of the 80s, directors who are irate, models and comedians, actors and chameleons, all the sort of people who carry something lethal. Trixies is a gas singing, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a gas singing, hey, Trixies is alright. cat singing, hey, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a cat singing, hey, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a cat singing, hey, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a cat singing, hey, hey, Trixies is alright. Trixies is a cat singing, hey, hey, Trixies is alright.
And there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, fantastic album, Squeeze, Trixies. This was a fantastic listen from start to beginning. There's not one track on this album, I would say, that's a dud. And they finish up in stunning fashion. Part one, I like how they bring a heaviness to it, especially rhythmically. There's a weight behind each hit and the swing of the music here. Like, here we go. I mean, with, like, even this, and then that guitar, that wow, 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 wow. It has, like, this off-kilter but cool effect to it. Kind of like the stylophone that we heard earlier. It just has this very unique tone in the way that it plays, and especially within this context. It sounds so cool. Bringing that 70s sound up, but much more modern and updated. And then the weightiness of the music here. By the way, that drum fill especially, very Ringo. Very, very Ringo. But here, even the notes here in the verse, the organ and the guitar stabs with the bass riding out beneath it, it sounds like it's moving in like in a very forward and pressing manner with a decent amount of weight behind the feet of those instruments. It feels so good. And you know what is really cool? The way he's singing is very cool and relaxed, right? And even the drums with the side sticks are very cool. But the transition into part two with the sax ripping. Listen to this. Listen to that sax, man. And it's so appropriate that the sax plays in that manner, which kind of sounds like the end of a show. It's the finale. It's the last go around. It's the final hurrah. And the sax and the music, of course, with the rhythm plays in like this kind of cabaret movement where I could see them, you know, when you do the, and you kick the can like, what's that called? Like when you're doing the kicks and, you know, when you're lined up with all the actors, all the people on stage and they all kind of do the little thing. Is that the can? I don't know what it is. But you know what I'm talking about. It kind of has that movement and it fits and it's so fitting for the music throughout the whole album and the characters we've been introduced to, all these things happening, good, bad, and everything in between. And I think that is just a perfect way to sum up the theme, the story, the plot, and the musical direction of this album with kind of a cool cabaret burlesque show. And that sax is just going off, right? And the saxophone is going to be performed by Jeff Coffin here, and he definitely puts things to rest with, that wasn't even a great joke, with the album in stunning fashion. Like they just jump into it. Everyone's involved. And everyone's here, everyone's involved, even lyrically, everyone's here. And everyone is here at Trixies. And I like how the album ends with lyrically saying, hey, Trixies is all right. Hey, I view that as the band rather kind of looking at themselves and saying, hey, you know, this album we made that we finally put together and did it proper so many years later, it's all right. We've done all right. Trixies Club opens at 12. Membership cards only, like Costco. The band played not very well. The singer looked so lonely. The doorman wore black and his gloves were velvet red. Well, he had the knack of helping Trixie's friends. Cool as a tropical shade with a surf rider suntan. There's so many parts to play. I just want to be the one man, just the one man. It had the smell of lavender and the drinks were so dear. The same old calendar hangs there each year. No one went out back, but the dark wasn't, no one went out back. The dark wasn't at all safe. Yeah, we learned that. The barman really stank, but that was his own fate. A shiny big limousine waited in the rain. Like an old movie scene, it trickled down the drain. Upstairs hung the woman in black lace underwear. The clients do all the giving, the madam takes the fare. Can I tell you? Now I'm just realizing as I'm looking over the lyrics, we're referencing previous tracks and the stories and the different characters that we were introduced to. I'm just realizing that. The limousine that was waiting in the rain, for the people that were in the alley, the woman in black lace, that is really cool. I'm just realizing that. The doorman, what was his name? Eddie, I believe. That's really cool way to wrap up this album. That's a really perfect way actually to wrap up the album. And then part 2, there's a door behind the stage that leads down to a cellar, and the waiter will take your coat, and nothing has ever changed, at least not for the better. And the curry once made me choke. The band were watching another fight. The heroin pushers appear at night, and the naked dancers all dressed in white. I tell you who hangs out there. Miss November, she's a playmate, rock stars of the 80s, directors who are irate, models and comedians, actors and chameleons. All the sort of people who carry something lethal. Trixies is a gas, singing hey, 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 Trixies is all right. Poker is played every night, the stakes are beyond belief. It's nice just to watch them play, it's lit by candlelight. The world of a full-time thief. Then it's time to face the breaking day, the curtain's down and on another show. Now insomniacs will just have to go. And Poodle Queens from Knightsbridge Row. Trixies is a gas, singing, hey, 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 Trixies is all right. Yeah, I would say the album is much more than all right. What a perfect finale to the album and a great way to end this, wrapping up the stories of each of these people and characters in the album. Because at first I was really following like a sequential story and I thought that's what it was. But I'm really now of the mind that yes, it's a literal nightclub. It's a literal place. Not like necessarily a real life place, but, in its story, it's a real place. And we were just following different characters, different people that would come to Trixies. And we just learned a little bit of their stories. This was really, really, a really great listen from back to front. Favorite tracks? I think my favorite would be The Place We Call Mars. But the album goes by so quick, and each of the songs really does kind of lead into the next. I think Place We Call Mars is my favorite. 100%. That would be my favorite track if I chose one, and I do choose one. But there is not a bad track on this album whatsoever. That's good. That's really, really good. That's really, really, really good. Hey, thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. You've spent 1 hour and about 40 minutes with me, maybe just a little over by the time the outro here is done. And I genuinely appreciate you spending some time with me today and with this album. As you saw on the screen, the Buy Me a Coffee is there if you'd like to sponsor a song request. Patreon for exclusive content. But if you don't mind at this point, just pressing that like button. It helps a great deal. Sharing the video if you feel so moved to do so. What I do hope that you're moved to do is, like I said in the beginning of the video, just shed and spread a little bit of kindness in whatever small way you can. Just do it. Jeremy, thank you so much for the support. Really, really appreciate that. And really fantastic recommendation as well. This was a joy to listen to. I had a great time with it. And I hope that everyone listening had a great time with it in some respect as well. Please come back tomorrow. Hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I will see you all later.